Hello and welcome to Kamitian Field in Holliston, Massachusetts on Friday, October 17th for SportView's award-winning production of Holliston Panther Football 2025. It's found only on Holliston Hub HCAT. Tonight, the Panthers face the Ashland Clockers on homecoming. My name is Tom Emmons, and alongside me is my co-host, the legend, Jay Wyman. Jay, the Panthers face the Clockers for the 67th time. What do you expect to see from Holliston against Ashland tonight?
I actually expect to see a mirror image of two teams, Tom. Both teams are built on very strong defenses. Both teams want to run the ball. Both teams have exceptional running games and exceptional running backs. And, both these teams are pretty even. Now, tonight, one of the things about Holliston is, you're going to hear a lot of new names, and there's going to be a lot of names you're not going to hear that you ordinarily hear because Holliston's dinged up quite a bit. But it doesn't matter. Next man up, and Coach Uroff is ready, got this team ready, and they're psyched, and they're ready to go. This is going to be a good game, and a game that, in the long run, we're probably going to have a lot to say with who wins the TVL Lodge.
Captains out for the coin toss. Number 3, Matthew Gimblett. Number 9, Max Murrow. And number 2, Austin Rodenheiser.
1-0 and tied for first place in the Tri-Valley League's large division.
Holliston defers.
Holliston has won the opening coin toss and has deferred to the second half.
We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a few moments.
We have to read this.
Fans, the Tri-Valley League and MIAA are committed to the highest ideals of sportsmanship, as well as establishing a healthy environment for competition. We will not tolerate any negative statements or actions towards competitors, game officials, or fans in attendance. Please be respectful of all those in attendance and enjoy the game.
Tonight's honor guard here in Holliston is Thomas Blair from the Navy, Steve Bradford from the Navy, Richard Finn from the Army, Subio Gonzalez from the Marines, and Kristen Westland from the United States Navy. We welcome them and thank them for their service.
Please join us now in honoring Stephen Bradford, U.S. Navy, Thomas Blair, U.S. Navy, Richard Finn, U.S. Army, Eusebio Gonzalez, U.S. Marine Corps, and Christine Westland, U.S. Navy. On behalf of the entire Holliston community, we sincerely thank you for your service. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise as you are able. Players, please remove your helmets. The Panthers are in their 73-7 formation. Please join us as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Ashland comes into this game with a record of 4-1. Their head coach is Andrew McKay in his 15th season with the Clockers. His record, 98 wins against 59 losses. Holliston comes into this game with a record of 3-2. Their head coach is Mike Uroff in his second season with the Panthers. His record is 8-8.
And you're in for a treat tonight because you're going to see one of the really good players well beyond the scope of just this league, one of the really great players around in this state, and Kevin Ozalumba, and he's just a sensational player to watch. And the good fun about that is that Holliston has their own in Austin Rodenheiser, and these two guys kind of facing off. Going to be a lot of fun.
Ozalumba's rushed for over 600 yards and 10 touchdowns on the season so far.
Taking off for the Panthers, number 2, Austin Rodenheiser.
He's back to receive the kick for the Clockers.
Number 23, Kevin Ozalumba. And number 6, Malachi Lambert.
Malachi Lambert's the other running back they have, and
both dangerous runners.
And we'll get into it a little bit more as the game goes along. But the run of their double wing that they run, our old war offense, they call the gunk offense. We'll see them running that a little bit tonight, I'm sure.
We're ready to start the Henry Studios first quarter. Malachi Lambert with the ball. Returns it over the 30-yard line to the 33.
Number 6, Malachi Lambert. He's tackled at the 33-yard line. Ashland will start 1st and 10.
Coach McKay, he's been around a long time. I don't know, he might even be the dean of the league now. He's been around maybe longer than a lot of the different coaches. But he does a great job over there for Ashland. He's really done a nice job with this ball club this year.
Quarterback for the Clockers is number 3, senior Ben Atherton.
Number 3, Ben Atherton.
They line up in an I formation with Ozalumba as a tailback. Hand off to number 23. He's hit right away.
Well, tonight, it's the same litany I go through every game, Tom. These teams, both of them, but Holliston's got to play a clean game. They got to have, none of the turnovers, none of the penalties or anything. But the other big thing is tonight, you really got to tackle these guys. If you get hold of them, you got to tackle them, bring them down. It's not that they're big and powerful. They're really, really, really good running backs, but they're not the big 240-pound Hulkster type guys. But you got to get them, and you got to tackle them because they'll wiggle their way out and keep going.
Jake Brodsky on that last tackle for a loss of 1, 2nd and 11 for the Clockers. Ozalumba again. Going nowhere.
And that's
Brodsky and Brannigan on the tackle.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Tom. He'll get out of those, and but if you can stay on him, you'll be able to tackle him.
No gain on the play.
They can throw. They have Atherton can throw the ball a little bit, and they do have some pretty decent receivers. Not known for really throwing the ball that deep, but that doesn't mean he can't do it. But they like to use the edges. You got to make sure to contain on the edges out here.
3rd and 11 for the Clockers. Atherton to throw. Fires, complete to number 7.
Pass from Atherton is complete.
That's Captain Mark Memerstein.
Brought down by number 11, Tyler Motter.
Milmelstein.
So Ashland converts on a 3rd and 11. They've got a first down at the Panther 39-yard line. 10 minutes in the clock running in the Henry Studios first quarter.
This is their double wing offense.
Atherton to Ozalumba. Off the right-hand side, dragging number 57, Alex Bregman.
Brought down by number 10, Paul McGrath. Number 57, Alex
Bergman.
A couple of these kids who are seniors now were sophomores when Holliston ran this offense, so they would know it a little bit. In order to defend it, you must contain. You must contain and then bring force in through the middle of the defense.
2nd and 4 for the Clockers. Ozalumba again, right side. He's pushed back after a short gain.
Stood up by a host of Panther tacklers, including number 10, Paul McGrath, number 57.
Paul McGrath at the bottom of that pile.
Paul McGrath has just really come on this year. He's one of the kids that's just absolutely taken it, not just one level, but 2 levels, both on offense and defense. They're going to have to rely on him quite a bit tonight.
So 3rd and 3.
Down and 3.
Holliston reacts to the movement, and that's going to get them a first down. Offsides.
Encroachment on the defense. The result of the penalty is
That'll move the ball to the 27-yard line. 8:35 left in the Henry Studios first quarter. No score. Ashland on their first drive of the night.
And they will throw out of this formation a little bit once in a while, so you got to kind of respect that too.
Lambert on the right wing, Ozalumba on the left. Boomer is the fullback. Pitch to Lambert, left side, breaks a tackle. Touchdown, Ashland.
touchdown, Ashland.
Well, Lambert got out there. I told you, he's a good one. They're both these running backs are really good. Atherton also is pretty good running out of that formation. And sometimes they'll run that formation quite a bit. Sometimes they'll wait till they get a short yardage. But there's other times, like tonight, where they just start off the game and just start running out of that formation. So you're going to have to stop it at some point.
Extra point is good. So with 8:12 to go in the Henry Studios first quarter, Panthers trail the Clockers 7-0 on homecoming night.
And the other thing you're going to have to be careful with tonight is Coach McKay has a lot of trickeration plays, you know.
Oh my gosh!
And they'll do onside kicks coming right out of the bunch, you know, without just in the huddle. They'll onside kick off of that. They'll fake punts. They'll do a lot of stuff. So right now, when you get out there, you got to get out there and be ready for anything.
Well, the long pass to Memelstein and the offside penalty on 2 third downs, that shot the Panthers.
That'll do it.
The foot. Let's see how Holliston responds right here. They scored 28 points last week in a win over the Hopkinton Hillers.
Number 13, Nick Flannery.
Kick goes deep. Flannery, number 13, returns it to the 31-yard line. That's where the Panthers will start 1st and 10.
Holliston coming out. Charlie Patrick will open up at quarterback. And he's had a nice season so far. The 2 games that he's been able to fill in, he's done a really nice job, and he's got a really nice rapport with Paul McGrath. And
Paul McGrath had three catches for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns from Charlie Patrick last week.
And he does it to the outside, and this is a weakness that I've seen on this Ashland team. It's if you can get the ball to the outside, you can do some damage.
Rodenheiser to the right, round the right side, but strung out by the Clockers.
The other thing is they're very good at going to the ball. They're very fast defense to get to the ball. So anything you do is going to have to be quick. Any long developing plays, you might run into some problems. Got to get the ball and get it out there quickly.
Loss of 2 brings up 2nd and 12 for the Panthers.
The line is where Holliston has really taken some really some tough luck with the injuries. So, but they'll get through it.
2nd and 12 from the Holliston 29.
Rodenheiser to the right side.
Handoff is to Austin Rodenheiser.
He's forward for 3 yards. They'll bring up a 3rd and 9.
Number 7, Mark
They're pretty strong on the inside, and it's led by the Nick Boomer, who, by the way, has maybe the best name in the TVL. And
you got to tip your hat to that name.
Yeah, and he's a good one. He gets down there, and he'll be on the defense. He's kind of like the base of their defense. And the other Lambert brother, one of them scored a touchdown. I think they're twins. The other Lambert brother is number 55, is another really tough defensive player.
3rd and 9.
Patrick to throw on 3rd down. Chase from behind for the sack.
Patrick is brought down in the backfield by number 7, Mark Holliston.
That'll force the Panthers to punt.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Tom. You can't have slow developing plays. You got to get the ball out of your hands. Now, if you do, you're going to score some points because you see these areas kind of open up where the receivers went, and you can slip another receiver out there, but get them the ball quickly. That's what you're going to have to do.
Back deep for the Clockers, Kevin Ozalumba.
Brodsky to punt for the Holliston team. He gets a high one off. Fair catch called by Ozalumba, and the Clockers will start at their own 45-yard line. 5 minutes and 25 seconds left in the Henry Studios first quarter. Clockers got on the board with their first drive, 7-0.
Well, now we're going to see how Coach Conrad's defense can react to this team. We'll see if they go into that, what they call the gunk offense, our old war offense, the double wing. You've got to, if they do that, you've really got to play.
Invented by
Nick Stevens.
That's right, over in Medfield.
And Nick Stevens, who will always go down in history as the inventor of this. He brought this into this league, starting over in Medfield. He brought it over there.
Ozalumba, right side. Pile moves forward. A helmet's lost.
Now that was a great job by Holliston to defend that and turn the ball in. But what you got to do, you can't overrun the back. In other words, you can't go deeper into the backfield than the back is, because he'll be able to cut up quickly. So you got to kind of come out and hold your own. You may not get him for losses, but you're not going to give up any long touchdowns if you do that.
Gain of 6 for the Clockers. Brings up 2nd and 4. Now they're in Panther territory at the 49. Number 8 to the left side. Dom Palanzi.
Brought down by Paul McGrath.
Being up 3rd down and 1.
And definitely, unless there's a penalty, this is 4-down territory for them.
It is 3rd down and 1 yard to go.
This is where you got to be extra careful when it's short yardage like this. The quarterback will also keep it.
Turnaround by Atherton, takes it himself. He's forward for the 1st down.
Yeah, he likes to keep it. If it's a short down, he'll keep it. That's his option. And if he sees something open up in the line, he'll use that.
Always to the left side, I noticed.
Yeah, he does like to go to the left, yeah.
Brought down after a Clocker 1st down. 1st and 10 from the Holliston 43.
A lot of times when you're playing an offense like this, a lot of coaches like to play a 6-man front. They call it what they call a 6-2. It just your safeties and cornerbacks got to kind of stay back a little bit.
Ozalumba moves to the right wing now. Hand off to him on the jet play.
That's do it right there.
Nice tackle by Max Murrow, number 9.
The captain.
Kevin Ozalumba is brought down.
And that's the other thing though. As far as Ashland is concerned, with running this offense, is the problem is if you get behind the stakes. In other words, if you have like 2nd and more than 10, sometimes that pulls them out of this offense. Sometimes it won't, but other times it will, and they'll go back to the regular offense.
2nd and 13 now for Ashland.
Got to stay a little more wide out to this edge.
Pitch to Ozalumba to the left side. He's forward to almost the 40-yard line.
Brought down by Liam Brennan.
He's one of those runners, Kevin Ozalumba. We talk about the runners for Holliston who have done that in the past where they get out, they got great balance, and they're always, when they get tackled, they're always falling forward. I mean, right there, he doesn't fall forward. It'll probably be 3rd and 10, but he was able to stretch his body and get that extra yard or two. Big 3rd down here.
So 3rd down and 7 for Ashland. Pitch to Lambert. Nice job by the Panthers, stacking him up. So to bring up 4th and at least 5. Let's see where they mark it.
And that's what you got to do, Tom. If you've got an offense like this that likes to run, and they're very heavy run, you got to get them out of that. You got to get them into that passing offense where they feel a little less comfortable.
Just brought a new quarterback in, number 2, Owen Wolfman.
Yeah, Wolfman is good too. He can run out of this. So you got to be careful with him. They probably won't pass out of this, but he can run out of it.
4th and 5 for Ashland. Wolfman takes it on the sweep.
Yeah, he's got the 1st down.
Tackled by Murrow. But he got enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, you got 2 of those quarterbacks who can run out of this. They both do a nice job. I think sometimes if it's a little bit longer, they'll put Wolfman in.
From the Holliston 28.
But Wolfram, he does a nice job. He gets out of this. There's just another person you got to worry about in that offense.
So 1st and 10 from the Panther 28. Atherton under center. Inside handoff to Ozalumba. He's gone. Touchdown, Clockers.
Yeah.
Touchdown, Ashland.
So Ashland with a little bit of a change up there. Scores with 47 seconds left in the Henry Studios 1st quarter.
Well, they get in that and they get successful with that, and they get like a 2 or 3 possession lead, and you won't get them out of it because then if they know they can move down the field and eat up the clock like that, they're just going to stay right there.
Extra point is good.
47 seconds to go.
So the Panthers trail by 2 scores. They've only run 3 plays, Jay.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen, and you get in there and you get these teams will strike quickly, and they, it's the same with Holliston all the past years, and even this year with Austin, Rodenheiser, is that you can do quick scores by the run game. You don't have to do it with throwing long bombs. You give the ball to a Ozalumba or a Rodenheiser on our side of the ball, and these guys can score. So you don't have to pass if you don't want it. And of course, the other thing is they control field position and they control the clock. You got to always be aware here for what Ashland might have up their sleeve.
Rodenheiser and Flannery back deep to receive the kick. Kick goes to Flannery at the 15.
Kickoff is returned by Nick Flannery.
He stopped just at the 25-yard line.
Tackle is made by number 8, Don Palanzi.
Good coverage down there by Ashland. 42 seconds left to go in the Henry Studio 1st quarter.
1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line.
So I know you want to establish the run and you want to, try and establish the run up the middle and everything, but the outside is where they are very vulnerable. But you got to get out there quickly.
Handoff to Rodenheiser. He just finds no room to the left-hand side there.
The handoff is to Max Morrow. It's a gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9.
Clock running, 18, 17 seconds. Let's see if Holliston even tries to run another play before the end of the quarter.
That was Murrow on the carry.
3, 2, 1, and that's going to do it for the first quarter.
So 2nd down and 9, and we're done with the Henry Studios first quarter. Panthers trail 14-0.
Yeah, that's another thing, Tom, is that you have on these quarters, when you have these two teams both running the ball like that, this quarter's going to fly by. So you can't let them get too far ahead. You're going to have to, get the ball and as you would always say, matriculate it down the field.
Clockers last week beat Dedham 42-0 as Ozalumba and Lambert combined for 242 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yep. And my guess is, I didn't see the game, but my guess is they probably pulled them early. You know something, Tom? Exactly 100 years ago tonight, Holliston traveled to Millis for Game 2 between these league rivals. The final score remained a mystery, but we do know that Wilbur Stover scored 3 touchdowns in the contest. The win pushed Holliston's Tri-County League record to 2-0, and they swept the home and away series against the one team who was capable of challenging them for the TCL title.
Those 25 Panthers.
The 1925 Panthers.
1925 Panthers.
Yeah.
Patrick to throw to Leveroni. He's out to almost the 35.
Almost a first down there. Let's see if they give it to him. No, I guess he was just. He had to cross the. Yep, he got it first down. That's the pass I'm talking about, Tom. You got to get outside. You work them outside, and you can go. Now you get another guy like a Rodenheiser, somebody outside there, and he's going to break that tackle. He's going to be gone. But you got to get out there quick. If you get out there quick, you can attack this defense. But they're good. They don't give up a lot.
Patrick takes it himself on a quarterback draw. Boomer and friends strung out that play.
This timeout looked like someone lost a helmet. Is there someone down? Well, if you lose a helmet, I guess you got to come out.
And at quarterback for the Panthers, number 15, Jack McDonald.
Jack McDonald has to check in for a play.
Jack just kind of joined the team a couple weeks ago. And he's got a good arm, good quarterback. He led that JV, had a great JV season last year. Led that team to like a 9-1 record or something.
McDonald the throw, fires complete. Oh, Rodenheiser thought he had that one.
Incomplete. Intended for number 2, Austin Rodenheiser.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 11.
Brings up a 3rd and 11.
Big 3rd down here because you really want to try and keep control of this ball.
Holliston 34.
.37 left in the
Central Cafe, second quarter.
Third down.
McDonald a throw on 3rd down. Fires downfield. Incomplete.
Jack McDonald's pass is incomplete.
Yeah, well, Jack, like I said, he's only been on the team for a couple weeks now, I think, and they got to get him into working in that thing. But you can see his arm, you can see how good he is, and Charlie Patrick too. I mean, Charlie Patrick throws a really nice pass.
Jake Brodsky to punt. for Holliston.
And you got to make
Lumba back to the 40-yard line.
You got to cover this, Tom. You really got to be careful covering this.
Brodsky's kick goes down to the 35. Takes a Panther bounce all the way inside the 30. Down at the 32-yard line. 10:16 to go in the Central Cafe second quarter. Panthers trail by a pair.
Let's see what Coach McKay does coming out of the change of possession here. See if they stick with that double wing or if they come out in a regular formation.
They tend to stick with the gunk when they're ahead.
They will, yeah, and they should, because if you're controlling the clock, you're controlling the scoreboard, you're controlling the field position. Holliston calls a timeout.
Got a little more history there?
Yeah, I got another history from Ken Dunn. Thank you, Ken, for this. This is 1975. This is 50 years ago. On October 18th, 1975, Holliston was scheduled to play a game against Bellingham, but the game was canceled. The game was rescheduled for the weekend before Thanksgiving, where Holliston went into Bellingham and crushed the Blackhawks 47-0 to move to a 9-0 record, 7-0 in the TVL, with only Westwood left in the way of a Super Bowl berth.
That was my sophomore year.
Your sophomore, okay, yeah.
Only a sophomore.
Oh, only a sophomore. 10:16 here in the Central Cafe, second quarter. You know, it's interesting, of course, we talked about the Holliston, injuries, and of course, the problem is a lot of them are in the line, in the offensive and defensive line, and that's where these games are won and lost. But still doesn't matter. You still got to get in there. You got to do the job. You got to come in and do that. And you will never, ever, ever hear Coach Uroff use any of this as an excuse.
No, they coach the players up.
Absolutely.
But you do have a lot of guys playing in new positions.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Even a couple of swapping sides.
Yep.
Well, they got to find some rhythm on defense. That has been their calling card.
You still got to contain. You still got to tackle. The two things in this offense. You got to contain the outsides and you got to tackle.
Uzalumba on the jet play. Tackled by Flannery, but not after he picks up a first down.
Yeah, see, and that's what I'm talking about, both things. You don't contain, and then he gets out there, and he can break a tackle or two, and gets out there, and, of course, Nick Flannery with a nice tackle, open field tackle, and Uzalumba. That's a pretty tough thing to do.
When your free safety's making a tackle,
it's not a good idea.
It's not your first option on the play.
Nope.
First and 10 now from the 41. Atherton turns around, kicks it himself. Drags it out to midfield. Stopped by Murrow.
Atherton on the keeper. Brought down by Max Morrow.
Second down and 1.
See, now the playbook's kind of open. I'm wondering if they're just going to keep doing this, or if at one point he's going to come out of here and throw a pass.
Probably no need to with a 2-score lead.
Nope.
Atherton takes it on the sneak. Bounces outside. Flannery with a touchdown-saving tackle.
And that's the thing, the problem is you got those two great backs in there, and you want to make sure they don't get the ball. Well, you focus on those two guys. Somebody's going to be open, and that's what's happening. Atherton right now is running this offense absolutely beautifully. Another timeout on the ref.
Timeout, Ashland.
Talking to Coach Uroff. We got a player down.
Oh, that's okay. It's an official's timeout for a player. Boy, this is not what you never want to see this anyway, but especially now.
Right.
Good night, good turnout. Homecoming tonight, Tom.
Yes.
Are you going to the dance?
I didn't know it was cowboy themed.
Hey, the world is cowboy themed, baby. Are you going to the big dance tonight? Or?
I didn't get a ticket.
Yeah, well.
Sold out event.
You didn't get a ticket or they wouldn't sell you one.
Probably wouldn't sell me one.
Panthers fans, let's hear it for the Holliston High School Pep Band. First and 10, Ashland from the Holliston 28-yard line.
So Clockers are down to the Panther 28. Ozalumbo on the left wing. Lambert on the right. Atherton to Lambert. Just picking his spots inside the 15-yard line.
Looked like Liam Brannigan on the tackle and Jack Staley.
Brought down by Jack Staley and Liam Brannigan. The gain is good for a Clocker first down.
Boy, they do a good job, and they follow the blocks there, and you know they're getting those openings.
They're getting a push.
Yeah, and they're very patient. And that's what runners got to be in this situation.
First and 10 from the Holliston 15-yard line.
Inside handoff to Ozalumba.
Nice job in there.
The handoff is up the middle to Kevin Ozalumba.
Inside the 10-yard line. Gain of 4 or 5.
Nice job by that interior defense of Holliston. That looked like the play that he scored on.
Second and 4.
You know, the other thing is you come up here, you don't see this offense at all, and you come in here. So after a while, you're going to get used to it. But you still got to stop it.
Second down.
Second down and 4 for Ashland. Ozalumba on the right side. Touchdown Clockers.
9-yard touchdown.
Well, right now they're putting on a show.
23, Kevin Ozalumba.
7-11 left to go in the Central Cafe second quarter.
This homecoming crowd is a little stunned. They've seen the Panthers play a lot of D1 and D2 teams here.
Yeah, and it's, you know.
Extra point is up and good.
And to continue your point, Tom, you know, it's the defense that really has been carrying the ball club a lot.
Holliston 0.
Well, we've seen this war offense for many years.
Yeah, very successful. But Holliston never really ran it like the whole, you know, they'd run 3 or 4 plays.
They would run it when they got ahead.
Yeah, or if they got 3 or 4 plays or something. Yep, or they down by the goal line. But these guys have run it. This Ashland team has run this for years. They kept running it, and they really got it down well. I mean, Atherton does a nice job back there. Of course, the other thing is he gets down so low that and everybody's crunched in there. You don't see that ball. You don't know where the ball is. So first thing you got to do is find the ball, and then the ball carrier, and then you got to tackle the ball carrier. And you know, again,
it's a battle of attrition.
Yeah,
you really got to sacrifice yourself in the line.
But you got to do it.
Kick is to Flannery, taken by Tyler Motter, number 11.
Tyler Motter, the kick returner.
Returns it out to the 25-yard line.
So once again, you got to come out here because, you know, I get that offense is good. We talk about it being good, but this defense is shutting you out. You can't have that either. You know, you got to start putting some points on the board.
Right. No, they've bottled up Rodenheiser and Murrow.
Yep.
And they haven't been able to get the ball to Paul McGrath.
Charlie Patrick goes in a quarterback.
Charlie Patrick.
He did a good job for the Panthers the last couple of weeks.
He really did fill in. He did a great job last week.
Patrick to throw on first down. Dumps it off to Murrow.
Ooh.
Good coverage by the Clockers.
See that screen pass, you're supposed to chip them. You're supposed to kind of hit them. Let them. You're supposed to let them come in, but you got to hit them and let them come in. You can't just let them go because you're going backward. He's running backwards and they're running forwards. They're going to beat him. So you got to at least chip those guys, and then hopefully they won't realize that it's a screen pass.
2nd and 15 for the Panthers. Patrick hands it off to Rodenheiser,
Austin Rodenheiser, the ball carrier.
but he is strung out by the clockers.
Backfield by a host of clockers.
I mean, you can run as long as it's quick. You can run a misdirection play here, but the thing is, you can't play with that ball too long in the backfield because these guys now 21-0, 5:42 left in the Central Cafe second quarter. They're just pinning their ear back. They're coming. They just got their eyes are open wide.
Pinning
and
their
just
ears back.
Yep.
3rd and 14. Patrick to throw. Fires it looking for McGrath.
Charlie Patrick's pass is incomplete.
I guess Ashland saw last week's film.
Well, McGrath and Patrick,
They're blanketing him.
we were talking about it earlier. I don't know if they're both Irish. One was Patrick must be Irish, right? and McGrath, and I was thinking the Irish connection, but whatever. It's not happening right now.
Brodsky's punt.
Nice punt.
Going to bounce at the 50.
Oh, don't let it come back, boys. Attaboy.
Kyle Raffy stops it at the 48. 5:16 to go in the Central Cafe second quarter. Panthers trailing by 3 scores.
See how Ashland plays this. Coming into this game, we had talked about how really, really important this game was for the TVL title and maybe even for the state seedings.
Well, it's always important when the Panthers face the Clockers.
That's right.
Ozalumbo on the pitch. Tackle by Staley and Murrow.
The toss is to Kevin Ozalumbo. Brought down by Jack Staley and Paul McGrath.
This is the thing. They had that one tackle for a loss, Holliston did, but other than that, it's a constant. At least 3, normally 4, 5, 6 yards, and when you get like that offensive line really gets pumped up, and they start pushing around the defensive line, and pretty soon you get tired.
2nd and 5 from the Panther 43-yard line. Pitch to Lambert.
Nice job.
Nice tackle from behind. That was McGrath on the tackle. He chased that down from the left side of the formation.
Yeah, and that's something you can do, Tom. You can chase from the back on these plays because, as you see, when they're coming around, it's kind of it's a slower play. They're not really hitting the jets until they get outside of their the tackling, their offensive tackle. So sometimes you can do that.
3rd down and 2 to go.
3rd and 2 for the Clockers. Atherton calls Ozalumba back. Atherton forward on the quarterback keep.
What they were probably doing on that play is reading the defense and seeing, what type of defense is it? Is it going to be are they playing zone back there? Are they playing man? And I'm not sure why they needed to do that, or maybe it was just something they do as part of their playbook. Maybe there was no reason for it.
Yeah, and it's disconcerting when the man goes in motion, then everybody stands up.
Yeah.
Ready for a big third down. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line of the Panthers. Atherton hands it inside to Lambert. He breaks through. Dragged down by Brannigan. Another touchdown-saving tackle. Looked like Lambert was stopped there at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it did. And that's the thing, they keep pumping and pumping those legs. That's what the great running backs do. You know, we've seen it a lot. And they get out there and they just keep pumping and moving forward, and you break a tackle, and then another defender thinks, well, he's tackled, and you kind of give up, and then he breaks a tackle, and then he's off for another 20, 25 yards.
So the ball's on the Panther 13-yard line. 2:32 to go in the Central Cafe second quarter. Atherton takes it himself. Gets it to the 5-yard line.
And right there, in that particular play, you could see when Ozaluma goes all the way across the offense and goes out to the right side of his offense, you can see Holliston following him across. See, Holliston comes across there, and then the ball goes up the middle. It's great. And the other thing about this offense, when you have playing other offenses, you know, you get down near the goal line, it's a lot easier to cover them because you're not covering as much passing. That's not in this case. In this case, when you're playing an offense like this, it gets easier for them near the goal line, not harder.
Panthers dig in on 2nd down and 2. Ball's at the 5. Ashland calls a timeout with 1:32 to go in the Central Cafe second quarter. They're knocking on the doorstep in this red zone drive.
Yeah, you got to tip your hat to them. They're doing a really nice job out there, and they've got it going on all cylinders, offensively and defensively, and even their special teams is doing well.
Against Archbishop Williams, they sort of changed it up and went for a pass down here in the goal line twice. Got they picked off.
Both times they got picked off, and I think they learned their lesson there. You know, and in this case, the Archbishop Williams game, of course, they were kind of controlling this offense, and sometimes they'd push them back, they'd hold them. They weren't able to move up and down the field like they're doing tonight, and so they figured, well, we'll throw the ball. In fact, that's all I could think of when they did that. Not that I'm a big Pats fan, as you know, but that great Super Bowl comeback where they run in the ball. Seattle's taking the ball right down to the end, and they throw the ball.
Running,
they throw the ball, and it gets intercepted. And that happened twice.
Marshawn Lynch should have got the ball.
Yeah, and that's what happened twice last week, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was.
Come on, Malcolm Butler. Big play right here. Panthers dig in. 2nd down and 2. Ball on the 5. Pitch to number 8. That's Polanzi. Looks like he's got enough for the first down. So it'll be 1st and goal from the 2 or 3.
Clock keeps running. 1:10 left to go in the Central Cafe second quarter.
Atherton taking his time as the clock's running.
Yeah, well, they want the clock to run out, and they feel pretty comfortable what they do, and they have the timeout. They can stop the clock down here, so they get their 4 runs in, no problem. Holliston's just got to stop them.
Atherton on the quarterback sneak.
Ben Atherton on the quarterback keeper.
No signal.
No signal yet.
Touchdown, Clockers. So the Clockers been 4 for 4 on offensive drives this first half.
Well, they're doing it. You gotta stop them. It's just.
Kick's good.
We saw Wolf for last year I know, and maybe the year before, but I know last year he was a great kicker, and he was able to kick a lot of field goals and stuff. And a couple of games I watched, they were talking about, and they do a great job, by the way. The Ashland TV guys do a great job. And they were talking about how how he hadn't been doing too well, and he had been missing some things, and some of the snaps were going over the head of the guy setting up the extra point and everything. They said he was having a rough game, but he's not having a rough time. But he's not having a rough time here tonight.
Clockers dominating the Panthers so far. Panthers looking for a spark somewhere along the line.
Yeah, and what you got to do here, Tom, is you got to just really keep your head in the game. You got, we all know what the situation is on the Holliston side. You just got to keep your head in the game. You got to keep pounding. You got to keep trying. No matter what happens, you got to keep playing. Can't get the frustration. You got to keep playing and play hard. And see, weirder things have happened. You can turn this thing around, but, first of all, you got to stop them. And second of all, you got to make some first downs, yourself.
Flannery and Rodenheiser back deep for the Panthers. Flannery at the 12. Nice block by Rodenheiser.
What a block.
Flannery's across the 40, 35 to the 37-yard line. Well, that was a little spark.
Yeah, like there's half a minute left here in the Central Cafe second quarter. That's right. Now you got this. Build off it a little bit. Maybe get the ball to the outside. You got to go to the outside. I'm telling you, you're not going to do it on the inside against this ball club. I know you got to run the inside once in a while, just to keep everybody honest. But they're really good on the inside, really strong. You got to get to the outside. That's going to be your best chance. You score here and you come back and get the ball the second half, right?
That's right.
There you go.
1st and 10.
Patrick to throw. Fires complete to Brannigan. Breaks one tackle without the second.
Pass is complete to number 4, Liam Brannigan.
Holliston takes a timeout with 18 seconds to go in the Central Cafe second quarter.
Yeah, this is a good timeout, and I'll tell you why this is a good timeout. Because now you got the nice run back, and now you got a little success on that pass. You want to keep building a little bit because when you go in, you want to go into the halftime, and the coaches want to say, and you've been there, right? The coaches want to say, "Hey guys, okay, we can do that. Let's one play at a time. We're not going to score 28 points in the whole third quarter. You got to come back.
He's got to put a good series together, a good drive together.
A little bit here, a little bit there. You never know. I'm not sure that might even be the Holliston's last timeout. I'm not sure. Ashland, they can't wait to get out. Look at them out there.
You got to put some doubt in the Clocker's mind.
You do.
Which a big play can do that. Turnover can do that.
2nd and 7.
Patrick to throw. Fires to McGrath. He gets out of bounds on a first down with 11 seconds to go
they kept the
in
clock.
the Central Cafe second quarter.
We start the clock.
Gain on the play. It's good for Panthers. First down.
They're probably not going to get another
Clock starts running again.
Yeah, because they just had to. The Holliston calls the last time out.
1st and 10 from the Holliston 48.
See, that's what you need. So now we got this, and we got a little bit of that here and there, and you kind of see how that works. But that's that outside I was telling you about. You want to work out there, and you want to work out there quickly. Now, the other thing is, it's going to get to the point. They go to the ball, and aggressive teams will go to the ball. What you want to do is use that against them. That's where if they can give Charlie the time at quarterback to pump fake there and go, you're gonna be able to do that because they're just so aggressive, and with this score they can be overly aggressive. So you want to see if you can use that particular aggression against them. They're playing way back now. They're dropping everybody now. This is where I love screen passes in a situation
The
like
hook
this.
and ladder.
Or the hook and ladder.
First and 10. Timeout.
Ashland's going to take a timeout once they see Holliston line up.
Ashland, they have a direct line to our microphones here.
They do.
So they're hearing what. So they just want to tell them to be careful of the screen.
And I said hook and ladder. I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Hook and ladder. When I played for Ashland, the hook and ladder was called the T42.
Is that right?
You throw it to the tight end, and then the back coming out of the backfield. We did that one. I did that once in a JV game. I caught a ball and gave it to the guy, and he got like 2 yards or something. I was so happy that I caught a ball. I didn't care about blocking. The hell with that. Heck with blocking.
From the Holliston 48.
Panthers at their own 48-yard line. 7 seconds to go in the Central Cafe second quarter. Patrick to throw. He gives it to Murrow on the draw play.
Nicely played.
The draw is to
Nice fake.
Morrow.
Morrow picks up enough for the first down, but that's the end of the first half.
First down.
The team's heading into the locker room. Ashland 28, Holliston nothing.
Ashland 28.
We'll be back with the second half action in just a few moments. Please enjoy the Basil's Pizza and Sub halftime show.
onto the field. Your Holliston High School class of 2026 homecoming court is Ethan Neville, Autumn Smith, Loriani dos Santos, Lucy Harrington, Avery Traver, and Michael Crandall McBride. Congratulations to the class of 2026 Holliston High School homecoming court.
Okay, the Panthers are back out for the second half, trailing Ashland by 4 scores. Stats from Ken Dunn. It's all Ashland. Ozalumba, 2 touchdowns, 78 yards. Lambert, 59 yards rushing and a touchdown. And Atherton, 50 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, as Ashland accumulated over 200 yards of rushing in the first half. Not too much of a surprise.
No, well, the surprise was I thought it might be a little more than that. They've scored, as you said, Tom, on all 4 of their drives. They've just been really sensational offensively and defensively against the Panthers. And, that's going to happen. There are days that's going to happen. Now, what you got to do is you got to come out here and you got to just keep pounding away and you got to keep playing strong and get used to it. Talking to get these kids who are, tonight playing, and they're going to be playing the rest of the year for Holliston. They're going to have to get in there, and they're going to have to learn how to play, and they're going to have to learn under fire. And sometimes that's the best way to learn, right? Sometimes you just got to throw them in the fire, and whatever happens, happens. But you got to get the big thing about this is you got to try and get going. And if the situation comes out that you can't, then you got to get out of here learning something. It's very important that you learn something out of games like this.
Ready to start the main effort financial third quarter. Kick is loose but jumped on by the Panthers.
Yeah, that was tough because the Panthers first Panther jumped on it, the ball scooted out, and then another Panther came in and was able to...
football's not round, Jay.
Football's not round, and the Red Auerbach thing, we talk about this all the time. Red Auerbach, he said, the guy's looking at the ball, he said the floor is flat, ball's round, it's going to come up to you. Well, that doesn't happen in football.
You know what Auerbach also said? All the parquet is not the same.
Yeah.
You got to know where the dead spots are.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we can find some dead spots in this Ashland defense right now.
First and 10.
Ball's at the 33-yard line. McGrath in motion. Patrick to throw. Fires to Murrow. Interception. Number 2 with the return. Has it inside the 35-yard line.
Well, that's Wolf from the backup quarterback. He's a really good defensive back. He does a nice job. They have a couple guys back there. There's another guy that I saw who plays pretty well. I believe it's number 1. What am I thinking? But I think it's Castro. It's Daniel Castro. He's the other defensive back that does a nice job. So here we are again in familiar territory. Let's see how Ashland handles this. If they're going to come out and...
First and 10.
I expect to see Gunk.
Yeah.
So not the start to the second half the Panthers talked about. Pitch to number 8. Keeps his feet. Tough to bring down. That's Palenzi. He's got 9 yards on first down.
It's interesting, I certainly do not blame Coach McKay for coming out and playing like this. I just wondered if he'd come out and want to see if he can do some other things offensively with his team.
I'd say keep running it till they stop you.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. So many times you see these teams that run. They get to the end zone like they did a couple of weeks ago against Archbishop Williams, and they throw the ball, but they can't be stopped right now.
Ozalumba cuts inside of Murrow, breaks away. Third touchdown of the game for Kevin Ozalumba. His 13th of the season.
And if you watch this run, that's exactly what I was talking about. How you got to tackle him because he got grabbed right at the beginning, and it looked like he was going to get tackled either for a loss or a very short gain. He just pulled his body, turned his body, and got out of that, then got in there and then came up through, and the rest of it, he just was just Katie by the door, really.
No, they had a paw on him. Kick is up and good.
Now,
so with 10:50 left in the main effort financial, the Panthers are down 35-0.
And as for Holliston, I didn't get really a chance to talk about it, but coming out and throwing the ball a little bit beyond looks like Charlie's reach. But I don't blame them for that. You got to come out. You got to do something. You got to loosen up that defense. Even if of course it got intercepted, that's the worst of the three things that can happen when you throw the ball. But even if it was just a long pass and it dropped, nobody got it, that would maybe give that defense a little something to think about.
Maybe the cowboy theme brought bad luck to the Panthers.
You're
talking about my Cowboys. Listen, let me tell you something. My Cowboys are going to have two great receivers this week. So,
did you pick him up on your fantasy team?
I have CD Lamb.
Good.
But that's not going to do me much good tonight. 10:50 left to go in the main effort financial third quarter.
Let's see if the Panthers get a spark out of this return.
Oh, he's down.
Line drive down by Staley. If you go down to your knee,
you're down.
You're down.
Yeah.
Down to the 30-yard line. First and 10 Panthers.
And there was a play somewhere, actually it might have been in an Ashland game, where, or was it one of the college games I was watching, no, it couldn't have been a college, it had to be Ashland, where he went, a puncher, ball came back to the puncher, and he got down on his knee to field it.
He got down on one knee to get the ball.
He was down. I think that was an Ashland game.
Yeah.
By the way, Ashland, who's been having a lot of trouble up until the Dedham game with not playing really clean games, is playing a really clean one tonight.
Charlie Patrick inside to hand off to Rodenheiser. Picks up a couple of tough yards.
Down after a gain of 2. 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8 for the Panthers from their own 30-yard line.
And, this is also, we talked about this, that, the coaching staff wants to see, who can do what out there, who can play, who's going to, they're trying to get varsity experience for these kids. So this is a big half for Holliston. You got to be able to get something and learn something out there.
Patrick pitches it out to Rodenheiser. Rodenheiser with a first down inside, crosses midfield to the 45 and inside the 45.
Yeah. And what you got?
That's more like it.
What you got to do is you got to first make them feel good about themselves, and that'll do that. Well, I'll tell you what, you're not going to, with Rosenheiser and
great block by McGrath on that play.
Rosenheiser and Max Murrow and those guys, they ain't going to give up. They're just going to keep pumping. So don't expect that to happen.
So Panthers with the ball at the 43-yard line.
First and 10.
Patrick to throw. Down the middle, tipped. Intended for McGrath.
Yeah, Charlie Patrick. And again, I'm not making excuses for Charlie, but he's brand new to this too. He's only done this for 2 games. So, he
was under a lot of pressure
quickly.
That time.
Yeah.
2nd and 10.
But again, if you do that this time and you learn from that, next time it won't happen, and that'll be a good thing.
2nd and 10 for the Panthers. Patrick to throw, complete to Brannigan.
Yeah, there you go. Hit that outside and keep going to that outside.
Brought down after a gain of 3.
3rd and 7.
Nine minutes left in the main effort financial third quarter.
Third down.
Pitch to Rodenheiser, tries to get the corner, he's got it, cuts it up.
So good.
First down, Austin Rodenheiser inside the 30-yard line.
He's so good, and once again, Tom, you're testing those outsides, and they're starting to move the ball by doing that. The previous play, they had a nice pass to the outside. And now they get to the run to the outside.
Boy, give Rodenheiser some green grass and he can do it.
He's unbelievable. Whether it's real or plastic, he can run on it.
First and 10 from the Ashland 28.
You know, in Dublin where they played the NFL game,
Yeah.
it's 95% grass and 5% AstroTurf.
Is it really?
It is. They grow grass with the AstroTurf.
The dog, you say?
First and 10 from the 28-yard line. Patrick to throw. Complete.
And where did he throw it, Tom?
Nick Flannery on the catch. His first catch of the season.
And where did he throw it?
To the outside, Jay.
Tom, I'm really getting tired of being right all the time.
I tell you, it's exhausting.
Clock running, 7:45 left to go in the Main Effort Financial third quarter.
First and 10 from the 13.
First and 10 from the 13 as the Panthers are in the red zone for the first time tonight. Pitch to Rodenheiser. Round the corner. Inside the 10 to the 7.
Yeah, he's just that good. And he can run. You know, we talk a lot about Ozalumba, and we should. He's good. But right here, this kid can match him. And I told you how they both like to run the ball in the pregame. I said they both like to run the ball, and they both have those great runners, and they do. These are I think, the two best runners in the TBL. I don't know, maybe somebody else is who we haven't seen, but right now.
Brady McCormick might have something to say. He just broke the record of Medfield's all-time rushing record.
But he's in the small.
He's in the TBL.
Well, that's a small. We don't count that.
Second and 6 for the Panthers. Patrick to throw. Inside. Touchdown, Panthers! Homecoming crowd picks up the energy from that score.
And what you do with that, and you'll see on the coverage on this, they covered him to the outside because he kept covering, and that allowed him to come in back across the middle. The defender will go outside with him, and then...
I didn't see who it was. Rodenheiser? No, not Rodenheiser. Max Murrow with the touchdown catch. Kick is no good, but the Panthers are on the board with 6:29 to go in the Main Effort Financial third quarter. 35-6 Ashland.
Well, that'll help a little bit.
You need to find some energy somewhere, Jay.
Yeah. Well, you got to stop believing in yourself. When you get down here and you get in a situation like this, you got to keep pounding away. Good things will happen.
So that was Max Murrow's 4th touchdown of the season and Charlie Patrick's 3rd touchdown pass.
That was a nice pass, too. That was right in the window. That was
his 4th touchdown pass on the season. Sorry.
Yeah, he said 3 of them to
Paul McGrath.
Paul McGrath. They had that 160-yarder, was it? The first one down the middle of the field, and then the 2 last weekend.
Right, a 34 and a 40-yarder.
Yeah.
Well, nice to give this homecoming crowd something to cheer about.
Yeah.
Chip kick, covered by Ashland quickly.
That's the same exact play that Ashland ran against. Was it Bishop Williams? Archbishop Williams, I think. But Ashland ran that same play against them or Bellingham. And if you're going to do that, the problem is you can't kick it too far because nobody's in position to take off fast. So it's got to be right at the line. It's got to bounce off of somebody. You got to kick it right at someone.
So Tommy's calling for a turnover right here. Keep that momentum in the Panthers' favor.
First down.
Ozalumba, right side.
Kevin Ozalumba, the ball carrier. Tackle made by Jake Brodsky.
Pickup of 6. 2nd and 4.
6 on the play, 2nd and 4.
Well, you got that little jump start like you talked about, Tom, and what you have to do now is transfer that over to the defensive side of the ball, and you got to, just keep pounding again on this side of the ball.
One punch, one interception.
You've got to tackle. You've got to tackle. Contain and tackle is really what you got to do against its offense. And if you do that and you get them out of that offense, then you might have a different story.
Ozalumba, right side. He's a wrecking ball.
Yeah. He just keeps going, and by the way,
he's not a big guy, but he's strong and shifty.
He's not big, and he's one of those that like I call some of these guys a violent runner. He just really goes. He keeps going. He keeps pounding. He keeps moving forward, and he just really does a really good job. And by the way, he's getting some really good blocking by that offensive line too.
Right.
They're giving him some holes to run in.
5:08 left in the main effort financial third quarter.
1st and 10.
Pitch to Palazzi.
Tom Palazzi, the ball carrier.
He's stacked up. A good stop by the Panthers.
Yeah, they don't want to jinx the Panthers or anything, but it looks like on this drive they're getting a little more used to what's going on here. Now the problem is there's so many options that they run off of this. A lot of teams can't run as many options off of this as Ashland does because A, they're not as talented, and B, they're not as used to this offense. I mean, Ashland just gets in this thing, and like you said, this I think other than the first 1 or 2 plays, they've run this the whole time.
2nd and 8 from the 34. Ozalumba.
Did he lose the ball?
Nice grab.
Oh, okay. I thought he lost the ball.
Keeps his feet.
See, now what
looked like somebody was going to punch it out.
Yeah, what Holliston is doing now, it looks to me like they're kind of coming up with a 6-man line. I told you at the beginning of the game. That's what if I was running against this, I'd run a 6-man line, fill every gap, and keep them contained on the inside, on the outside, and just make the tackle. And this is one of the
3rd down and 6 for Ashland.
One of the few 3rd and long that they've had all night. That's the 2nd time they've done that. What they do, and I don't know. Of course, we can't hear down there. I don't know if it's just the movement that Ozalumba does, which is legal, by the way, or if there's an inflection change in the quarterback's voice that, along with that, causes someone to come across.
Right.
You're so anxious, you don't want to get beat.
It's probably a hard count with a quick jump.
And you can't,
a quicker jump than he usually makes.
Because Atherton, the quarterback, he's not doing it. You can't even see him. I mean, we can't even see him down there. He's so low in that offense, and I think that really helps them too. That he's really down there. You can't see where their ball is. But it's still not a 1st down.
3rd down and 2. Atherton on the quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
He got stopped. It's going to be close.
Yeah, they're probably going to get it.
Well, he didn't get a huge surge that time.
Well, what happened was he ran right into the blitz. The blitz came in from Holliston. That's the first time that I've really seen them come in with a blitz. Trying to see who that was that came in there. I don't know. I couldn't see who it was.
2:28 clock running here in the main effort financial third quarter.
But you can blitz into it too. You know, if you have those 6 men across, and then you want to blitz one of your linebackers or even your safety, if you're going to blitz them in there and say, you know, if they're going to throw off of this and throw a touchdown, who cares? You know, it's rather do that than death by 1,000 cuts.
1st and 10.
Great move by the cheerleaders down there, by the way.
Different formation for Ashland. Uzalumba. McGrath had him around the waist, dragged him down. Gain of 1, 2. Let's see, they do mark it.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
2nd and 7 for the Clockers.
Clock running, 1:42 left to go in the Main Effort Financial third quarter.
Lambert on the right wing, Ozalumba on the left wing. Inside hand up to Ozalumba.
It may not look like this right now, Tom, but that defense that Coach Conrad is running, I think is much better defense against this offense. They're still making the yardage you're doing, but they're not. It doesn't seem to be as easy for them.
3rd down and 3.
3rd and 3 for the Clockers.
You're coming up with what may be the last play of the third quarter with 40 seconds and clock running in the Main Effort Financial third quarter.
3rd down and 3 to go.
Lambert, fake to him. Atherton took it himself.
Yeah, he got the first down. And I think that's probably going to end the third quarter.
Let's see what Ashland does. Doesn't look like they're going to run another play. And that'll bring us to the end of the Main Effort Financial third quarter. Panthers trail 35-6, but they did get a spark out of that Charlie Patrick to Max Murrow touchdown.
Well, this
on
is
their second drive of the half.
Yeah, this is much better. They lost this quarter, but it was only 7-6, and they looked a lot better doing that.
Take us back in time, Jay.
Oh yeah, let's go back to 1985. On Saturday, October 19th, 1985, the Holliston Panther defense caused and recovered 3 fumbles and intercepted 5 passes at Bellingham to roll to a 26-6 victory and a 4-1 record. The game was an example of how dominant the Panthers defense was for the entire 85 season.
Wow.
And thanks,
5 interceptions?
Thanks to Ken for doing this. One other quick thing here. I'll do the 2015 one.
Oh, we love that team.
2015 team on October 19th, 2015, the Holliston coaches were making sure the team would not have a letdown after defeating the Westwood Wolverines 19-12 on the road the week before. While the Panthers traveled to Hopkinton and built a 28-7 halftime lead to make sure that the Hillers would be no challenge to the Panthers' perfect record, Jack Barrett rushed for 2 scores and threw for 2 more in this 35-14 victory that kept Holliston rolling and increased their record to 5-0. Great job, Ken. Thank you. We're celebrating all these years.
Did you notice in that 2015, they played Westwood mid-season?
Right.
There was a couple of years where they faced them 2 times.
That's right.
And then in 2013, they faced them 3 times.
Yep.
Clockers 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line.
Kevin Ozalumba, the ball carrier.
Ozalumba for a couple.
Yep.
I love that 2013 team because that was the game.
2013 or 15?
2013.
13.
I know this is 2 years before the Super Bowl team, but Matt Jay was the quarterback.
Yep.
And they dropped the game in Holliston in the regular season.
Oh, yes.
But then they faced Westwood in Westwood in the playoffs and beat the Wolverines.
That playoff game was over there, right? It was. I think it was a Saturday night over there.
Oh, they had the fireworks ready to go.
Yeah.
Atherton.
Oh, nice
inside
tackle.
handoff to Palazzi.
Don Palazzi, the ball carrier.
See a little fire out there by the Holliston defense, getting a little jacked up. That's good to see. Never
It's going
ever
to be
quit.
3rd and relatively long. It's going to be 7.
Never ever quit, and there's no quit in this team, and I love this.
A big defensive stand for the Panthers.
Yeah.
Down and 8.
3rd and 7. Atherton under center. Turns around, keeps it himself. Squeezes out. Close to a first down.
Now let's see what happens here if the coach.
Where are they marking it? It's going to be 4th down and 2.
Let's see if the coach kicks a field goal here. What do you think? Nope, he's going to go for it. I was wondering if he'd give Wolf a shot at the field goal.
And a couple of play brings up 4th and 2.
Long 2.
It's 4th down.
So 4th down, Panthers dig in.
Yeah, see, they didn't do it they didn't jump that time. They're testing that because this is the play that they ran those 2 passes on.
Right.
And they're going to call timeout.
Ashland.
He wanted to see. I think Coach McKay wanted to see how Holliston was going to defend that. And if they were going to defend that with like a zone coverage, he was going to run the play. If they did man-to-man, there's not enough field down there to beat the guy, so he's going to probably would run to call the timeout. So
9:20 to go in the Super Ed 4th quarter. Panthers hoping to stand tall in this 4th down. There's got to be a little bit of doubt in Coach McKay's mind.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, every play hasn't worked for 3 yards.
That's a good point.
A lot of them have.
Good point. This is one of those games, that just happens, and you tip your hat. You tip your hat and you say they played a great game, and that's all there is to it. And the way this world works with this playoff system, Tom.
Playoffs?
You don't even know. You know what happened, 3 or 4 years ago? We ended up playing Ashland in the playoffs.
Oh, I don't want to face the clock.
You may see these guys again.
Oh, I hate that when you make the playoffs, then you play a TVL team that you've already played before.
Play them, and then you give it right back to them.
I know, but you'd rather play another opponent that you don't know.
I know, Eeyore. I know. All right, let's see how the defense does this.
4th down and 3.
It is 4th.
Panthers dig in. Clockers dig in. Atherton on the quarterback sneak.
I don't think he played back. Oh, what are they doing? No, he was down. But
he was down.
It looked like.
They waved it on for the first down.
Yeah, it looks like he made. I thought he made the first down, but then he kept going and scored the touchdown there.
So Atherton sneaks it over for the first down.
It'll be 1st and goal from the Holliston 3-yard.
Panthers making them grind it out. Be 1st and goal from the 4.
First and goal.
Pitch to Palazzi. He's in for the touchdown.
Touchdown, Ashland. Three-yard touchdown run from number 8, Don Palazzi.
Panthers made a valiant stand.
Yeah, they did. They take it down there now. We're into. We'll be doing running time for the rest of the ball game here.
Aaron Wolf to attempt the extra point.
Good.
Wolf's kick is good. So it's now 7:42 left in the Super Ed fourth quarter. Ashland leads 42-6.
Yeah, now we're into running time, so your clock at home is the same as this unless there's a timeout. Well, that's a good ball club over there. And
very good ball club, well coached.
And from the only other team that I don't know about that I've seen that I thought might be somebody in the mix would be Norwood, and
they got blown out by Westwood.
I don't think they're going to be in the mix, no. And they're going to this team right now. I would put them right now in the forefront of a team that's going to win a lot. Now, a lot of stuff can happen. You saw what happened to Holliston this week with all of the. The injuries. So anything can happen. A lot of things can happen. A lot of things can go wrong.
Aaron Wolf to kick off for the Clockers.
But they're playing very well. As I said, they're always very, very well coached. Coach McKay is.
Coach McKay was looking forward to this season. He's got 21 seniors.
Yeah.
That have played together since the 8th grade.
Yeah,
and he's got a star running back to cap the program. Wolf's kick takes a Ashland bounce. Rodenheiser grabs it at the 20.
The kickoff is turned by Austin Rodenheiser.
Returns to the 28.
21, Blake Brennan.
So for once, just to close it out for Ashland, I wish them the best of luck. I mean, they were a ball club that earned it. I really respect, and a lot of people respect Coach McKay. I know a lot of people over there in Ashland. I know my own nieces went to school when he was with him over there, and everybody over there just loves him as a coach and teacher or whatever he does over there. So congratulations to them on this victory for Holliston. Okay, we got some learning to do. We got some experience in there now, and we go on and we play Norwood and Dedham and see what happens.
Jack McDonald in at quarterback, scrambles, fires, downfield, incomplete. Intended for Morrow.
Yeah, and this is really the only thing that's bad too bad about the running clock is. He's not going to get that many plays in, Jack. So it would be nice if he got to really do a couple drives. But you can see his arm, the arm strength. And Charlie Jack is a junior, right?
Yes.
And of course Charlie's only a sophomore. So you got two quarterbacks there who can do the job. Of course, we lost Tommy Quinn, the starter. We lost him.
You hate to see seniors go down.
Oh, I just hate it.
2nd and 10. Pitch to not to Rodenheiser. That's Remy Mandeville, number 28.
Yeah, he's another one. He's the one that came back from injury. Remember that he just came back this week. He was out.
3rd and 7. Attention fans, as we enter the 4th quarter, we kindly ask for your help in keeping Kamitian Field clean. Before you leave, please take a moment to pick up.
Clock still running, 3:50 left to go in the Superette 4th quarter. While we got a second, we want to thank our crew tonight. Tom Harmon on the camera. Nice job, Tom. Thank you very much.
Just off the injured reserve.
Yeah, he's off injured reserve too. He by the way, Coach Uroff is on injured reserve too. And then the great Bruce Guilfoyle over here, who's not off injured reserve. He had to fill in doing both jobs last week.
3rd and 7. McDonald rolls out to his left. Fires complete to Cal Leveroni.
The number 20,
Nice catch, his third of the season.
number 20, Cal Leverone. The game is good.
Leveroni, you know, I heard a lot of that. I grew up with some Leveronis over in Ashland. They pronounce the name Leveroni, and I see people over here call him Leverone. I don't know if it's the same family or not, but if it is, it's Leveroni.
Against Norwood High School.
I'm going with you, Jay. You're always right.
You're the best. Tell my wife.
McDonald
Another first down.
to Leveroni.
McDonald's pass is complete to number 20, Cal Leverone. It's a 10-yard gain.
Holliston moves the chains.
For Panthers.
Back-to-back connections.
2:25 left to go. They're hurrying now because they're running against the clock, running time.
McDonald looks downfield. Chase out of the pocket. Rolls right. Gets out of bounds.
Oh, there's got to be a flag. No? Yeah,
it is a late flag.
Jack McDonald on the keeper. There's a flag on the play.
Jack is a really, really good baseball player.
Yes.
Personal foul hit out of bounds by the defense.
Clock still running, 1:40 left to go in the Superette fourth quarter.
The penalty is
Get down
good
the
for
Superette.
Panthers. First down.
Ball's down on the 26-yard line now. 1st and 10 for the Panthers.
1st and 10 from the Ashland 25.
Great blocking by the line. What a great job by the line.
Throw down the middle of the field.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Panthers!
What a great job by that offensive line. Holliston's offensive line. That's how you protect your passer.
Austin Rodenheiser with the catch.
From quarterback Jack McDonald to number 8, Jonathan Casey.
Oh, number 8. Jonathan Casey with his first touchdown of his Panther career.
He's the mighty Casey.
Sam Floria to attempt the extra point.
That you might find that's the last play here. Let's see, it's the last play of the night. There you go.
The kick is up.
Extra point is good.
3 seconds to
So
go.
with 32 seconds left in the Superette fourth quarter, the Panthers are on the board again.
And
McDonald to Casey.
the question is, did you find something tonight? And it looks like possibility they might have. I wonder if the coaches, they're just going to let this clock run out. So that will do it.
So Jack McDonald with his first touchdown pass on his Panther career to Jonathan Casey, number 8.
The final score.
And Charlie Patrick had a touchdown to Max Murrow.
Panthers 13.
3 touchdowns by Kevin Azalumbo were too much to overcome for the Panthers. Final score 42-13.
Yeah, nice job by Ashland, and again, we give them all the credit in the world, and they're off and running, and they might be one of those special teams this year. Who knows? We'll see. That's it from us for Tom Harmon, Bruce Guilfoy. Your name is Tom Emmons.
Tom Emmons.
And even Carlos Canto, who's over here. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.